Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome to the latest edition of The Distance. My name is Rob, and today we're going to do some dynamic drills. Lovely day outside, so hopefully you have somewhere dry to do it. Let us know how you're feeling today. If you're feeling great, let us know in the comments. If you're not feeling great, let us know you're feeling great in the comments. So, dynamic drills. What are they? They are an exaggerated running motion, essentially, that's going to help you to strengthen your muscles and joints, to improve your running gait, and therefore make you a little bit more efficient. And then on top of that, they're going to help you improve your balance, your coordination, and just simply challenge you to do something new. Some of you may have done drills before, some of you might not have done drills ever before. So we're going to start fairly basic, and then every week we're gonna progress. Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Natalie. So we're going to progress through the weeks, get a little bit more difficult. Some of it is going to feel easy. Some of it's going to put your heart rate through the roof, and you're going to want to stop, but it's all good. So a few key points before we get started. First one is to stand tall and relax your shoulders. So a good thing to do when you relax your shoulders, good morning Karen, is to stand there, bump your shoulders up, and then just let them drop. And then just leave them there for a second. So we're going to stand tall. We're going to dorsiflex our foot, which, let me get back here, is your foot in this position. So your toe, try and touch your knee with your toe. And that's the exact positioning of your foot we want. And then we have 2 more to go. So firstly, third I guess, we're going to make sure your foot, every time we do something, lands right under the center of your body. And then last but not least, just remember you have these things. These arms are going to help you run a lot quicker. But before we do that, we need to warm up a little bit. So we're going to do some active stretching, which means we're not going to isolate any muscles. We're just going to... Good morning, Amari. We're just going to do some active stretching. So we're not going to isolate everything, just going to get you nicely warmed up. So the first one, you're going to stand there, grab your knee, pull it towards you, and then step into it. And then as you do that, bring up your other knee, same thing. And we'll do 2 on each leg, turn around, and go back the other direction. So if you just got out of bed, you might be feeling a little bit wobbly. Totally normal. But it's going to feel a little bit better again. So the second one to that is bring your knee up, grab your ankle, and then bring it back underneath you. And then same thing, step into the next stretch. Turn around, and we'll do the same one again. As you get further into it, you should be able to feel the stretch a little bit more, and you can begin to pull the muscle through a tiny bit more and get a little bit more of a stretch. And then the last one is my favorite, just not really. Is I'll show you from the front. Is you're going to grab your ankle and then bring it up into your waist. And ideally, you want this knee to be parallel with your hips. If you're fairly tight in your hips like I am, it may not go that way. So, but remember, we're going to walk it. So you'll stand to the side, and then step into the next stretch. And then last ones. Hopefully you feel a little bit more loose now. So, we're just going to go over the key points of the drills one last time before we get started. So we're going to stand tall. We're going to dorsiflex that foot. So knee, try and touch your toe. If you can do that, very impressive. And then every time we do something, your foot is going to land directly underneath you. So not out in front, not out and back, just straight up under, and then remember to use your arms. So, first drill is ankle rolls. So you're just going to roll your ankle up onto your toe, and then back to the heel. Up, so that's the motion, just straight up onto your toe, and then back down. I would start slow, just to get the rhythm, but we're going to inch forward really slowly. And then as you get the rhythm, you can start picking it up. So ideally here you want to take the shortest step possible whilst moving forward. And the quicker you go and the more steps you get in, you're going to feel your heart rate go up a little bit more. And this is just letting your foot go through a full range of motion, a little bit more extended, but essentially the same range of motion your foot will go through when you're running. So we're going to do that one once more. So that you can start slow, and then try and get quick. And remember to use your arms, so opposite arm, opposite leg, just as you would be when you're running. How was that for everybody? Do you feel like you got the rhythm down for that? Alright, so one more time, and we're going to try and do it quick. Or quicker than you were doing it. So when you're ready, you may feel a little bit in your calves, that's absolutely fine, especially if you've been running a good amount the last few days. So the second drill is part 1 of 2, and we're going to do an A march. You can practice as much as you like, Jenny. So the A march is, you're going to step up, remember opposite arm, opposite leg, toe up, and then just going to step down underneath you. So the important thing with this is when you bring your foot down, you're not dragging it across the floor, you're kind of stamping it under you and then away, so that your momentum pushes you forward. And this is where the dorsiflex foot's important, because it's basically preparing your foot to land in the position that it needs to land in. If your foot is in this position, when it hits the ground, it's going to rotate all the way around until it gets to the point where it's flexed and then push you off. Whereas if you come in with it already flexed, it's just going to go straight back off the ground, reduce your ground contact time, and make you faster. So we'll go once more in this direction, we'll turn around and come back. So A march. So stamp that foot into the floor and push yourself forward. How was that for everybody? Thumbs up or not? Perfect. Alright, so we're going to take that motion now and we're going to do the A skip. So, a little bit more, a little faster, and you should really feel yourself propel forward now. So you'll start up. When your foot hits the ground, you should feel it almost forcing you back off the ground on your other leg. And you can start a little bit slower, just a tiny bit quicker than what we were doing, and then progress into going a little bit faster. Remember, the big thing with this is not how far the distance you cover, it's really the number of good reps you get in that distance. And doing it in a small space is actually pretty ideal, because it kind of forces you not to sorry, Natalie, talking about my legs. Yeah, so it'll force you to take lots of small steps and not overstride. If you do this outside, it's usually a little bit more enjoyable and nicer, but in terms of learning it, a small space is actually going to be a little bit better to start with. So, alright, so we're going to do it one more time, and then we'll move on. Let me know when you guys have done it. So all of this is about, like I said, improving some strength, a little bit of coordination, some balance, and it all comes down to making you more efficient. And a lot of that is actually just reducing your ground contact time. So every time your foot touches the ground during a race, it's on the ground for however long. If you can reduce that, you're immediately going to start covering more distance. And if you think of the number of steps you take during a road race, it's going to add up. It's going to add up pretty quickly. So drill number 2 is another two-parter. So it's a B skip. So this one, your leg will go up, you'll kick it out, and then again it comes underneath you. So this is an exaggerated part of the running gait, where you essentially kick your leg out. So again, up, kick the knee out, and remember to get that leg underneath you. And this one is a march, so we're going to do it nice and slow and get the motion. So up, out, and then underneath you. And then as it comes underneath, this leg is going to come back up. How was that? Do you think you have the motion down to do it a little bit quicker? Alright, we'll give it a go. So remember, you can start as slow as you want, even walking in. So we'll go up. We'll turn around and immediately go back into the other direction. And hopefully that got your heart rate up a little bit. It got mine up, so. Let me know when you've done that one. Take a little breather, and we're going to go through it once more. And then we're going to circle back around, and we're going to do one set of A skips and one set of B skips. These are definitely something you can do a couple times a week. You can do it as a warm-up. Do it as its own session. I wouldn't do it every day, but definitely 1-2 times a week's going to be good. Alright, so we're going to go one set of A skips, back, and then one set of B skips. So remember, the A skip is the one with the knees covered up. Turn around. And then straight into the B. Last one. So it's good to get in a few reps just so you get tired. Once you start getting tired, so how long do we do the skips? Honestly, for this, it depends on the space. Ideally, you want it for 10 to 15 meters. Not realistic currently. I'm in my garage and I don't have that space. So if you can get it done, honestly, we can do this in as small a space as you need. It's about the number of reps that you can get in the space available. As long as you have a couple meters, then you should have plenty of room to get this done. And that's mostly because you're kicking your legs out in various directions. And thank you for the shirt. I do like the shirt. Okay, so when we're running, and I guess that a lot of you do run, we do a lot of forward motion. So So in our drills, we're going to incorporate a little bit of directional change. So the next one we're going to do is a lateral march. So you'll stand there, you'll half squat, and then just slide across the ground. So we're not looking for like a big step in this one. We're looking for straight horizontal direction as best as possible. So as little distance off the ground, but going side to side. And then we're going to come straight back into it, and you'll probably start to feel a little bit of burn down your IT bands and then your hips. And that's good. That means, especially in the hips, it means we're working something that we maybe haven't done in a little bit, or just underused. So remember, get into that half squat, just to get nice and low, and then go to your left and then back to your right. Where is everybody doing these? Are they in their front room? Gardens? Probably not your garden today, but do you feel like you have the space to do this? All right. So we'll go through that one more time. So, let's see. Awesome. So you guys have at least a couple minutes to get this done. Really, you can do this in the perfect amount of suggested social distancing. So just a couple of meters is more than enough room. So one more time with the lateral march. So just half squat down, and then across. And you probably see a lot of football players doing this kind of thing, and it is a little bit more relevant to multi-directional sport, but if you just keep running forward, you never use these muscles they'll take you in other directions, so it's really just going to challenge you a little bit more to use some muscles you don't normally use, and also just good injury prevention. So to follow up on the lateral march, we're going to do it faster. So again, half squat down, and just straight across. And remember, we're going for horizontal movement, not up. So you're going to go up a tiny bit, obviously, off the ground, but we're not trying to go, it's not a plyometric exercise. You want to squat, half squat down, stay low, and just almost shuffle across the ground. So in the space you're in, go from one side of it to the furthest possible other side. And then straight back the other direction. All right, so now we've moved forward, sideways. So we're going to do one going backwards. So first of all, just make sure there's nothing behind you. Going to stand there, and it'll just be an exaggerated walk backwards, hopefully better than I just did it. Just take a couple of steps back, turn around, and we'll go back the other way. Remember, just watch out for what's behind you. So you're going through the range of running motion, but just backwards. And this is really going to kind of work a few things you probably didn't think you would do this morning. So it's just a good one to really help prevent some injury and down the line. And you can move into this once you get outside at some point. You can go down a track and progress it into a backwards run. All right, so one more time. Turn around, and then back. Did everyone survive that one? So we have 2 drills left this morning. So take a little breather on that one. and then we'll get into the last two. These two should definitely get your heart rate up. Everyone feeling good still? Feeling a little bit more mobile, hopefully? Alright, so the next one is an ankle dribble. So we started off with the ankle roll. Now we're going to go to a dribble. So you're going to stand there. We'll go through it slow to start with. You're just going to walk, step over your ankle. And very, very slowly move forward. And remember to keep that foot dorsiflexed. So go up over your ankle, and it'll be almost back into the same position, just moving forward really, really slow. And the same thing we did with the A and B skips, where your foot comes down and pushes the ground away from underneath you. We're going to do the exact same thing with this one. Smallest steps possible. So if you have 2 meters, you want to be, the winner here is the person that does their 2 meters in the most possible steps. So we'll go through a march once more. This is basically a very, very minimal and reduced run, the exact motion. Does everyone feel pretty comfortable with that? Feel like they have the motion down? Remember, you're just stepping over your ankle. No higher than your ankle. Just your foot comes off the ground just a couple of inches. And we're moving forward. Alright. I don't think I saw any comments there, but is everyone feeling comfortable? Because we're going to speed that up just a tiny bit. Up to my starting shot. Alright. So. So just small little steps over your ankle, just continual cycle. Almost like you're riding a bike. That kind of motion. Just remember, keep it real low on this one. And one more time. So this is working on your running form. So when you're coming down, you're actually putting your leg into full triple extension. So that's where your ankles, knee, and hip align. When you're running full sprint, it's going to align in a more forward direction, and this is going to be almost vertical, but you're just trying to get your body used to feeling that position. Because if you can hit triple extension as much as possible, you're essentially going to be running quicker. How was that for everybody? So we're going to go through it just 2 more times. I know you guys are probably practicing it there, so let me know when you're good to go again, and we'll go through it 2 more times. Perfect. So as we go through it, try and speed up the drill a little bit. So that is speeding up in the number of steps, increasing your cadence. Immediately turn around when you get to the other end. And then head back that way. So we have 1 more drill left. And then hopefully this will show you kind of what you just did versus a high knee. So we're going to do a high knee, which is a little bit more of a traditional drill. With that one, you're focusing on the ground and the return of the energy, not specifically your running form. So remember, same as always, you stand tall, and then high knee, and then keep that foot dorsiflexed. The big focus here is that ground contact. When you hit the ground, you want to almost stamp into the ground and push yourself back. Get as much energy return as possible from that. And this is also a really good one because it's going to get you tired really quick, and then you'll start to feel your form breaking down. So once your form starts to break down, we're just going to go for 5 more high knee actions before stopping. So when you're ready, and remember to move forward really slowly. Turn around, take a quick breath. And then stop. So when you start to feel your form breaking down, I would hope that you're feeling that you're working hardest to get your knee higher. That's exactly what happens when you get tired in the race. You start to lose your stride length, and it just becomes a little bit choppier. So the high knee is a really good way to kind of learn that feeling. And then start progressing a little bit beyond that. So the dorsiflex foot, Amari, is, let me step back here a little bit, is your foot in this position. So the exaggerated feel of it would be to try and touch your big toe to your kneecap. You don't really want it to be as stiff as that and rigid, but it's basically your foot being up in the air. And that means when your foot comes down, it's already preloaded to return all of the energy that you have stored in your body. So everything you want to be straight. So hips, knees, ankles, aligned, shoulders, everything in as best alignment as possible. I would say neutral. That just means that that's what's natural for you, versus keeping a straight back, for example. So straight back is good, but it is going to cause some tension. So you want to go neutral with a view to it as being as straight as possible. All right, that was it today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back next Thursday, and we'll have some progressions to these, and it'll get a little bit more challenging. So if you have the opportunity, I 100% recommend going outside and having a practice with these later in the week, or early next week, maybe Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. It'd be great if you do it pre-run, pre-workout, make you feel a little bit faster. If you want to go for a run now, you should feel absolutely awesome. So have a little practice, and I hope to see you guys next week on the distance. And make sure you tune in tomorrow for Jenny's workout as well. See you guys next week.